We visited Yellowstone Bear World in Rexburg, Idaho in the fall of 2019. If you would like to get notices when I post again, be sure to subscribe right here. Just click on that button. This is 125 acres this site covers, and this is the petting zoo. It opened in 1998 and has 8 species, mainly local animals, that you can see around this area. There are over 40 black bears and 5 grizzly bears. You drive through their pen, and you can bottle feed the cubs if you pay a little extra price. Thousands of people come here to visit each year, and I rate it as a small A because you get to feed the baby bears, and also you can get right in amongst the carnivores. Soon we're arriving at Yellowstone Bear World, where we'll spend the next few hours. We'll be driving through the park area 3 different times, and we'll compile all of those into one. First we'll look at the hooved animals on this side, and then the bears on this side, before heading to the petting zoo and shopping area. First we'd stop at the gift shop to check on our tickets for feeding the bears, and then off we go into the compounds. These are Rocky Mountain elk, and the white ones are an albino version. As we drive on around, we come to a pen that's been fenced in, and inside that are the mountain goats. On around further, we come to the bison area. Over there on one of the fence tops, that's a golden eagle, and also some magpies with it. Driving on further, we come to the white-tailed deer area, and there's one crossing the road now. There are several fawns in this area. Next, it's time to leave the hoofed animals and go through this gate, where we'll be in the bear enclosure. Yes, we'll be driving where the bears are. We're the ones in the cage this time. First up are the grizzly bears. There's a couple here, and they're kind of kept from the black bears by this electric fence. And now we enter the black bear area, and they're all over everywhere. Along the way we come to a bear jam, and he's just going to sit there and wait for us to go around him. The ranger's feeding him honey. He's still there and hadn't moved, second time around. Now it's time to leave the bear enclosure and to head through this gate onto other things to look at. As we come out, there are some moose sitting beside the road. We'll now be visiting the gift shop and also the petting zoo and bear feeding. Here we find the crop of cubs from this year. There's 6 of them all together. They are separated from their mothers at birth because the male bears will kill them. You see, when a female has a cub, she's not in heat, but she'll come into heat when she loses that cub, so the males will kill them so they can mate with her. And here's Deborah trying to pick out which one she wants to feed. She'll end up feeding most of them. Oh no, bear attack, bear attack. And there's a pot-bellied pig. And now we come to a pot-bellied pig and a pot-bellied preacher. Wow, they look a lot alike. And Deborah harassing white-tailed deer. And here's a white-tailed deer harassing Deborah. It's good to have our ducks all in a row. And then we go over and look in the water, and there's some rainbow trout. The swans are using their long necks to feed on the vegetation at the bottom. And as we look over at the black bear enclosure, there are bears being fed by people. In the high truck, they can't get up there. And there's another way to feed the bears, the baby bears. And Deborah's going to do that. Here she is getting her instructions about how to do it. Then off we go to the cub enclosure, and she's going to get to feed. And in fact, here she is right now. They will get to feed several of the bears as time permits and as their hunger goes. And here's her souvenir. And after we feed the bears, it's time for us to eat at the Hungry Bear Cafe. Some hamburgers and fries. and the bears just sack out when they're full. Now it's time to leave Yellowstone Bear World and